CBS News congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes is inside Capitol Hill with more. Okay, Nancy, what do you make of today's hearings, and do you think ultimately that Price's nomination will go through?
In the end, it will, although this will be one of the most contentious fights because Democrats have a couple of problems with Price. First of all, they argue that he was basically taking advantage of his insider knowledge as a member of Congress, a top member of Congress, and made some highly advantageous stock trades. He has been arguing again today in that hearing that everything that he did was above board. And then beyond that, they have big questions about how this administration is going to replace Obamacare. And as you saw in that exchange, they don't feel like they're getting the answers from Congressman Price.
Nancy, as you know, a Senate committee narrowly endorsed Secretary of State nominee Rex Tillerson 11-10. Does this send an international message that our own government lacks confidence in its top diplomat? Or is this what we're seeing, Mitch McConnell really riding Republicans to stay on message, stay with the party, and show party unity?
It certainly sends a message that Democrats are not willing to stick with tradition this time around, that they are willing to show publicly for all the world to see that they have misgivings, not just about Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State, but really more so about Mr. Trump's foreign policy beliefs, his foreign policy experience. And the case that a lot of Democrats were making was that Mr. Trump doesn't know what he doesn't know, and they're particularly concerned about his views on Russia, which they feel are naive. And they believe that Mr. Tillerson, as a businessman, not a diplomat, doesn't have the deep foreign policy background to be able to influence the president to try to steer him in a direction that is more in line with the rest of Congress.
So, Nancy, does that mean that we sort of always expected that Marco Rubio, in the end, was going to vote for Rex Tillerson?
It was not a big surprise when he came around yesterday and said, I do have misgivings. I do feel that Mr. Tillerson is more focused on deal making than on diplomacy, than on human rights. But at the end of the day, he was not comfortable being the person who was standing in the way of Mr. Trump's pick for Secretary of State. And there are many Republicans, frankly, who felt that he was a better choice than some of the other people who had been talked about. And so Rubio said that he, out of deference to the president, was going to allow this nomination to go forward, but that he would not be as willing to let nominations go forward in the foreign policy arena when they are of less vital importance than the Secretary of State.
Nancy, remind me again, the hearing for Attorney General nominee Senator Jeff Sessions has been delayed. Where are we with that right now?
Well, the top Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, Senator Dianne Feinstein, says that she wants another week to review all of his documents. She says over the weekend that he handed in responses to some of the questions that he got from senators after his hearing. She said it was about 200 pages. She wants the time to go through it. And this is something that Republicans are pretty comfortable with. It's kind of standard. The opposing party does have the right to ask for an extra week to go through the documents. And so if that's all it is, and Republicans are able to schedule a vote in committee for next week, then I don't think you'll see a lot of Republicans up in arms. Where things will get testy is if Democrats try to delay the process, even when we get into next week. That's when you'll really hear Republicans start to argue that Democrats are trying to throw a wrench into a process that Republicans didn't when they were in the minority.
Nancy Cordes on Capitol Hill. Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.